In a city forged of cold steel and choking smoke, kindness was a rare currency that few people could afford to spend on the forgotten souls. Little Leo had nothing but a heavy stack of daily news and a heart full of cold, surviving in a world that refused to see him. The wind bit through his thin rags like a hungry animal, yet he stood there firmly, hoping for a single coin to buy his meager dinner. Thousands of people passed by him every single day, but to them, he was just another shadow in a city that had long ago lost its soul. He reached out with a trembling hand, offering the only thing he had, but he was met with nothing but harsh glares and cold, silent rejection. Hunger was a constant companion that gnawed at his stomach, and as the light faded, the weight of the world felt too heavy for his shoulders. The massive building seemed to close in on him, reaching for the gray sky, while he remained trapped in the dark, forgotten corners of the concrete. The distant sound of a train whistle echoed through the narrow alleys, a lonely melody that matched the quiet desperation growing inside the young boy's heart. In this vast expanse of steel and indifference, he felt like a broken gear in a machine that no longer cared if it functioned or not. Then the rain began to fall, a soft drizzle that threatened to soak his last few newspapers and wash away what little spirit he had left. Out of the mist appeared a woman whose eyes held a warmth that the city had long forgotten.
Hello there,
looking
Leo.
down at him with
Are
genuine,
you doing
soft
all right?
compassion. She didn't just see a dirty street urchin. She saw a child who needed a reason to believe that the world could still be a kind place. She didn't just buy a paper, she bought him hope, reaching into her bag to offer something far more valuable than a handful of small coins. The wool was soft and smelled of lavender and home, a sudden burst of heat against the freezing wind that had been his only constant companion. She handed him a piece of bread, still warm from the oven, its simple scent filling his senses and reminding him of a life he'd forgotten. The world is a complex puzzle, Leo.
You did
She whispered
wonderfully out
softly
there, Leo.
into the quiet
I'm so
evening
proud
air.
of you.
And you are a
Thank
piece
you,
that
Mrs.
matters
Clara.
more than you know.
I
For the
practiced a
first time in
lot.
his life, Leo felt the weight of his loneliness lift, replaced by a spark of fire that started deep within him. She walked back into the shadows of the rain, but she left behind a legacy of kindness that would change the course of his entire life. The red scarf was a beacon in the darkness, a symbol of a promise that he would one day find his place in this cold, vast world. Every bite of that bread tasted like courage, fueling a dream that began to grow in the heart of the boy who had once given up hope. He watched her go until she was nothing but a memory, but her words remained etched in his mind, echoing through the cold streets of the city. Years turned into long decades as the world around him shifted and changed, steel skeletons rising from the ground to reach for the bright blue sky. The boy who once sold the news began to build the foundations of his own story, working with his hands to create a future for himself. He traded his newspapers for textbooks, spending his nights under the flicker of a lamp, driven by a vision that no one else could see. The old red scarf remained his most precious possession, a silent witness to the struggle and the promise he made to the woman who saved him. He climbed the ladder of success with a relentless spirit, never forgetting the cold pavement or the feeling of being
It's an honor,
invisible
sir.
to the world
The
around
pleasure
him.
is all mine,
Now a man
Leo.
of great influence and power,
I expect
Leo
great
looked
things.
down upon the city he helped build, a landscape of glass and light that he mastered. He was the architect of the future, a creator of skylines, but his heart was still anchored to the small, narrow streets of his past childhood. He never forgot the woman who saw a future in him when no one else did, her voice still guiding his hand as he designed the city. Success was empty without a soul, and Leo knew that his greatest work was yet to come, a project that would finally pay back a debt. But progress often has a cold heart, and the modern world was moving fast to erase the last traces of the old, forgotten neighborhoods of the city. A harsh legal notice was taped to the doors of the poor, a cold ultimatum that demanded they leave the only homes they had ever known. Mrs. Clara Clara stood alone on her small porch, her hands trembling as she read the words that threatened to take away her sanctuary and her memories. The machines of progress arrived with a thunderous roar, their cold steel frames standing ready to tear down the history of 1,000 quiet lives. One by one, the neighbors packed their lives into boxes and left, their faces etched with the sorrow of a community being pulled apart by greed. She sat quietly amidst the chaos, a small figure of defiance who chose to remain with her memories rather than surrender to the developer's heartless blueprint. To the workers, it was just another job, another old building to be leveled for a luxury complex, another obstacle in the way of
it's
massive
barely up
profit.
to code anyway.
The darkness
Tear
of
it
the
down.
excavators
It's slowing us
loomed over
down.
her, a shadow of an indifferent future that had no room for the kindness of the past or present. She prayed for a miracle in a city that had stopped believing in them, her heart heavy with the fear of becoming homeless in her final years. Then, through the dust and the noise, a black car arrived, its polished
Miss
surface
Clara, I
reflecting the
presume?
ruins of
You
the
made it
neighborhood
through the mess.
like a dark,
Welcome.
silent mirror. The man who stepped out did not look like a destroyer. He moved with a grace and a purpose that silenced the roar of the machines. Around his neck was a piece of the past, a vibrant red scarf that defied the gray dust
I
of
really
the
like this
construction
scarf.
site.
It reminds me of the one my grandmother used to knit.
She looked
It
at the
looks
man,
great on you,
then at the
Leo.
scarf.
It brings
Her
out the
breath
warmth
catching
in
as
your
a memory
eyes.
from 20 years ago flooded
Leo,
back into her
Is
weary
that
mind.
really
He
you?
knelt before
I can
her on the
hardly
old wooden
believe
porch,
it.
the powerful
You've
developer
finally
showing the
come
same
home.
humility as the small, freezing boy she once helped in rain. "I am not here to take your home, Mrs. Clara," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "I am here to fulfill a very old promise." He showed her a new vision where her home wasn't a memory, but the heart of a heritage park, a sanctuary for the entire city to enjoy. Instead of cold concrete, there would be gardens, and instead of eviction, there would be a legacy that honored the soul of the old neighborhood forever. With a single gesture, he silenced the giants of industry, proving that true power lies in the ability to protect rather than the power to destroy. In that moment, the past and the present collided, reminding them both that a simple act of kindness can ripple through time and change everything forever. She wept not for what she had lost, but for the beautiful miracle of seeing the seeds of her own kindness bloom into such a magnificent reality. Hope returned to the street as quickly as it had vanished, as the community realized that their
Look how
protector
quickly
had
they work.
finally arrived to save their
Beautiful
shared
sight
history.
after so long.
Because you
Maybe
taught
the
me
rains
that
will
every
return
piece
now.
of the puzzle matters, he whispered. And today we are putting the most important pieces back together again. The gray city was slowly transformed as a patch of green life
park
began to
is
breathe in the
finished.
center of the steel jungle. A gift to everyone.
It's so
She became
pretty.
the guardian
Let's
of the
play
garden,
tag.
passing on the same
Gently
warmth and
place the
wisdom to a
seedling
new
right
generation
here in the
that
soil.
she once gave to a lonely boy.
That's it.
They stood together as
Yay,
equals,
we
looking
did
down
it.
at a world that was
Hooray.
better because they had both chosen to believe in the power of the human heart. True power isn't found in building the tallest skyscrapers, but in lifting people up and protecting the things that truly give a city its unique soul. The red scarf became a symbol for the entire city, a reminder that no one is ever too small to make a difference that lasts for generations. As the sun sets on the old world, a new era of compassion begins, proving that even the darkest cities can be brought back to vibrant life. Your smallest act of kindness today could be someone's miracle tomorrow, so never hesitate to share the warmth you carry within your own heart today. Leo's journey from a paperboy to a creator proves that when we help others find their place, we finally find the missing piece of our own lives.